stream. So if you guys haven't been keeping up, last week I kind of did a somewhat spoilers live stream for Lanterns episode 1. I'm deciding to just go full all out and just try something a little different this time around. Just do a live stream of all 8 episodes of Lanterns, maybe throw in something else, like I'll be talking later on about the Jimmy Olsen slash Gorilla Grodd show. But largely, I just thought maybe it'd be interesting to just, give people a day or so to watch the new episode of Lanterns and then come over here, talk some spoilers. So, again, I just want to emphasize, if you guys haven't watched the second episode of Lanterns, definitely go check that out. And then, obviously, come back and we'll talk some spoilers. This is, of course, going to go live probably in like the next day and a half. It just depends on when YouTube wants to cooperate and upload the video, quite frankly. But yeah, kind of talking first of all about Lanterns episode 2, just kind of to give you my general impressions. I thought this was a very solid follow-up episode to episode 1. I quite enjoyed the first episode. I think this episode really does a good job of continuing to heighten the stakes. It gives us a lot of Easter eggs, not just Green Lantern lore, but also DC lore as a whole. I believe we confirmed that Carrie is actually the sheriff of the Nebraska town. Carrie is actually from Gotham City. I thought that was a really cool nod. They're really doing a slow burn job at teasing Batman, but obviously Batman is like their most valuable IP, so it would make sense why they're kind of playing the long game and establishing some of the more lesser known-ish characters or B-tier characters into this universe. Also, I don't know if you guys saw this or not. Shout out to Screen Crush, because I actually learned this when I was watching their breakdown video. Go check them out if you haven't seen it. But there is actually I think it was in the first episode where Carrie says, "Tell Barb I'll see her soon," or something like that. And people didn't really think anything of it now, but knowing that she's from Gotham City makes me think that maybe they're teasing that she actually knows Barbara Gordon and that she could have been talking to Jim Gordon on the phone, which is why she specifically tells that person on the other line that she wants them to tell Barb hello. So, obviously that's a whole new perspective that I didn't necessarily see there, but one that's really neat. Just going on, kind of in terms of the actual episode, I think I've seen this episode twice now. Both times, I think I liked it a lot more. I did on second viewing, kind of what I did with the first episode. There's a gnat in here somewhere, so if you guys see me swatting at anything, that's what it is. But yeah, and forgot where I left off at. But yeah, I mean, I've seen this episode twice now. I did enjoy it more on second viewing. I got more out of it. I got a lot more of the Easter eggs on second viewing. Also, watched the first time I watched this episode, it was like 11 at night, and honestly, I was genuinely exhausted. I think I missed like the last 10, 15 minutes. So I guess I've only seen it one full time, or 1.5 times if you want to look at it like that. But yeah, I mean, I think this episode really does tease a lot more of the cosmic side. Like in the first episode, we're kind of told about it. In the second episode, there's still a lot of that exposition in terms of the actual cosmic side of the Lantern's lore. However, I think it works better because we actually get to see some of it. I think it was cool to see the whole idea of, charging the ring. We hear Hal Jordan say the oath when he's charging it, in Brightest Day and Blackest Night. No evil, my son. Beware my. I used to know it a few years ago, and just because of the lack of Green Lantern stuff, I unfortunately can no longer remember it. However, he says that iconic line, so that was really cool. And the way he says makes me think, and I've kind of thought this in the first episode too. I think Hal Jordan has really lost his way. I mean, it seems like he's kind of wants to be a Lantern in name only. So, am sorry, Seifalda. Nothing to be sorry for, my friend. We're just talking about Lanterns episode 2. So, love that you're here. No one is. Oh, no one is here. It's all good, man. I'm new. I'm growing YouTube. I'm not going to start out being like a John Campier, if you know who he is. So it's okay. I really don't mind it at all. And some engagement is engagement. And, sometimes these videos actually do blow up when I upload them on YouTube. So yeah, it's going to be great. And if you have seen the second episode of Lanterns, I would love to have you stick around and we'll start a discussion if you'd like. But yeah, just kind of going on with the Hal Jordan aspect, I actually think Kyle Chandler steals the show in this episode. Like, yes, we do get a lot of stuff involving Aaron Pierre as Jon Stewart, who continues to be absolutely fantastic. Like, he really does feel like Jon Stewart ripped from the pages of the comic to the screen. But this episode, while I'm still not 100% sold on this older version of Hal Jordan, I think I said that in my first episode live stream as well. I gotta say, this guy is just growing on me each and every scene that I see him in. This one, he just, and do you know the new law? Seth out in the ball sent that in. Not sure I know the new law. I'd be interested to talk about that here in just a second. I'm gonna give my thoughts on, finish my thoughts on the Lanterns episode, and then I'd love to discuss that with you. Oh, in USA, hey, we got some people coming in. Okay, Cody says hi. What's up, man? Glad you're here. Yeah, not sure about that new law in USA, but hey, I'll be more than happy to discuss it later on. But yeah, kind of going on with the Lantern show as a whole. I think this episode, like I said, it's delving more into the cosmic side of things. We're starting to see more of kind of the actual Lantern mythology. The scene where oh yeah, I was saying Kyle Chandler. Like, I think this really oh, you can't take your phone to school anymore. Yeah, man. I mean, I get that, unfortunately, and this is kind of, um, I see both sides to that, and I'm not going to sit here and get into debate about this or anything. I'm just going to give my 2 cents, and then we'll keep talking about lanterns. You can't take your phone. I'm just glad to have some engagements, so I'll answer this question best to my ability. But yeah, to the point, I didn't know about this law. You can't take your phone to school anymore. Oh, thanks for subbing, man. Really appreciate that. But yeah, didn't unless in Poland. Interesting. Yeah, I didn't hear about that, man. I understand. I am 25, so I am well past the school age, both college and high school. Not sure where you're at in life, but having been through that environment, and obviously with the rise of like Chat GPT and all that, I get why they're doing it. It is unfortunate. I really do feel bad for you. My heart goes out to you guys, but at the same time, I understand why that is a rule. Have a sub request. Cool, but you can take them if you're in secondary school. Huh, interesting. Yeah, I didn't know that. But yeah, we'll get talking back to lanterns, and then any other questions you guys have after that, I'm more than happy to discuss it. We're just going to be a few more minutes. I just want to break this live stream down, but I'm so thankful that you guys are stopping by and subbing. It means the world to me. And if you guys are into pop culture and mostly just movies in general, I'd love for you guys to stick around and let's just have a lot of fun. But yeah, kind of what I was saying about Kyle Chandler. I'm still not sold on the fact that we're starting the DCU off with a older Hal Jordan. However, I will admit, like, he's growing on me more and more and more. Like, I'm absolutely loving him. I think he's finding like a really good balance between just being straight up humorous, being kind of melodramatic. I will sub. I promise. Sorry it was so short. That was Cody. I'm gonna have to go. Okay, no worries, man. Hey, you take care. Have a good night. Thanks for stopping by. But yeah, he's just finding all of these ranges of emotions, and he feels very similar to like kind of that cocky attitude that Hal Jordan has in the comics and even like the Ryan Reynolds 2011 film. So I do think that that's pretty cool as well. That's something that I really think is a lot of fun to actually see. So I think he's a really good Hal Jordan, and if we were 10 years into the DCU, I wouldn't mind it as much, but I really hope they're going to find a way to keep Hal around because I'd hate for the kind of the main Green Lantern to, I'll see him, Cody, have a good one, but to, see him not continue forward in this universe. But yeah, I mean, he steals the show. I love the scene where he's like trying to take the dead bodies of what he believes are the aliens through the alien metal detectors that can detect, like, if, on the football field, that can detect if they're actually aliens. And he gets pulled over by the Sheriff Carrie, and she gets out of the car and comes to the window, and he's just like, this is exactly what it looks like. Like, that was such a great line. The delivery, all of that was honestly so well done. And so obviously that scene was great. And then you have Aaron Pierre. The opening scene of this was that he was learning how to fly. So Hal Jordan, and that was another great scene where Kyle Chandler is, Hal Jordan is like, all right, man, you want to learn how to fly? Go ahead and fly. and he tries his best to fly. Jon Stewart does, and then instead of actually being able to fly, he creates a bird. So I thought that was really interesting as well. It seems like James Gunn maybe just putting in he has to put an animal in all of his projects. I think that's going to be a given at this point. Alan Bazerto Pastrana 3803. I hope I'm saying that name right, my friend. Says, do you think Red Lantern is going to pop up? Glad you mentioned that. I'm actually going to go ahead and discuss the theory that. Oops, sorry guys, chair slipped out from under me. I'm actually going to go ahead and discuss right now why I think we've already seen the Red Lanterns. Maybe not them in their true form, but starts with an A. The guy that got Jon Stewart about midway through the episode, if you know who I'm talking about, and he was talking about the manhunters that had come and basically just committed genocide on their world. The bald dude, yeah, that guy. I cannot think of his name, but there's a lot of theories going around, and I kind of succumb to them as well. That guy could be Atrocitus. He's got like his 4 or 5 followers. What I was saying about the manhunters, and he's wanting to find these manhunters because they came and pretty much committed genocide on his world. Very similar to the origin of the Red Lanterns in the comics. And as an Atrocitus fan, I would absolutely love to see that. I hope it's true. In fact, it looks like it kind of is to a certain degree. Anton, yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, I think you're right. That does sound familiar. Yeah, I mean, dude, I think that's him too. So, Injustice 2, dude, love Injustice 2. I actually think I like the first one more just for nostalgia reasons, but like the second one is objectively the better game, and Atrocitus is like a top 3, top 5 character at least of that game. So, yeah, love Injustice. Hope you enjoy it too. But yeah, so obviously I think we did get an Atrocitus tease, and that's going to lead me to another major villain that we did get introduced to, and that is Sinestro himself. That is can't think of the guy that plays him, but he looks the part. I mean, just in the like minute or two that we actually see him, I think he's going to be right up there with the Sinestro in the Green Lantern 2011 film. I thought that was a really great casting choice as well. Vape Victims, interesting name, my friend. What you doing? We're talking spoilers for Lanterns. Glad you're stopping by. I don't want to, I like to warn people that we're talking full spoilers of the new Lanterns episode. So if you haven't seen it, just come back when you have, and this video will be up in the next day or two. But if you have, then feel free to comment about it down below. But yeah, kind of going off to Sinestro, I think Sinestro is a top 10, maybe even top 5 DC villain in general. Like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of the 2011 Green Lantern film. Maybe I need to give it another rewatch. Maybe that'd be something fun to do and review on here, like after the Lantern show ends. Rating on first 2 episodes. I'll get to that in the end, man. Give me like 5 more minutes. I'll finish giving my thoughts on the episode itself, and then I'll give my rating on the first 2 so far. But yeah, I rewatched last Sunday. Oh yeah, I'm curious to know what you think. I'm sure there are some people that like it. I remember being a little disappointed by it. I loved Ryan Reynolds as Hal Jordan. He did capture that cockiness very well. I remember loving like the entire like 20-25 minute segment on Oa. I thought that was really great. The training scene with him and Sinestro. But I just remember the rest of the movie being kind of forgettable. But I'd love to give it another watch, honestly. But yeah, speaking of Sinestro, I love the casting of him in the 2011 film. Again, I can't remember the name of this guy here, but I think he's going to do a great job. And the way that they actually are talking to, like the scene where Hal Jordan comes to interrogate Sinestro, I love the cliffhanger it ends on. I don't know what Sinestro means when he's basically saying, you think the Manhunters are the problem? You should be worried about Jon Stewart. And so I think because Sinestro is really built on fear and he's built on manipulation, my theory is that he's trying to manipulate. He knows Hal Jordan really doesn't want to give up the ring. I think that's been apparent from the start of the series. And so I think he's playing into that fear of, hey, you're not important anymore. Your time is up. You're getting older. And Jon Stewart is going to take your place. And so I think they're really trying to pit Hal Jordan and he's really trying to pit Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart against each other. So, I kind of think that's where we're heading, is more of this like headbutting, even more so than we've already seen. Because even Jon Stewart he's talking to, I believe it's, was it when he was talking to Zoe, her name is, the girl that he had an affair with? I don't know for sure, but I want to say her name's Zoe. And I think it was that scene where he said something about, like, basically he feels like Hal Jordan doesn't actually like care, respect. I forgot the exact wording. I probably should have written it down, but yeah, I mean, he's essentially kind of like onto it as well. And he's like, and oh, it may have been when he was talking to the, we'll go ahead and call them Red Lanterns. We're going to claim it right now. It's the Red Lanterns. So when he's talking to Atrocitus, and he's basically saying that Hal Jordan doesn't really respect him, that they're not really friends. Like I think even John knows Hal Jordan doesn't really like him very much. And so it will be interesting to see where all of this goes. I kind of wonder if Sinestro, like, I wonder if he'll even get out of prison in this season, or if he'll be more of like kind of a Hannibal Lecter kind of Baron, or even like a Baron Zemo sort of figure where he's kind of pulling the strings on this whole thing. Like, could it be he's working with the Manhunters, or like, I don't really know, but there's a lot that they could really do here, which I think is interesting. And, I guess there's like trying to think anything else that I really want to talk about before I give my rating on the first two episodes. Not something I usually do. Usually I would give my rating on, especially on shows like this that are basically like 6 to 8 hour long movies. I would just wait to do it at the end, but because you asked and I, Alan, I'll go ahead and do it. I would say the first two episodes combined, I would say so far we're looking at about an 8. I would say it's pretty solid, honestly. There's not a ton that they've done so far that I don't really like. So far, it's kind of exactly what I expected it to be. It's very well crafted. Kig504 says hi. What's up, man? Glad you're here. But yeah, I think it's very well crafted. I mean, it's HBO. I was actually thinking earlier, and I was like, HBO is kind of like the A24 of television. Like, even when they put out, like, even if they don't put out something that's always great, they put out something that feels interesting, that feels creatively driven, and I like that about them. I mean, whether it's Game of Thrones or House of the Dragon, Sopranos, Lanterns, like Penguin for that matter. I mean, they seem to hit more than they miss, and I think that's really great. But yeah, I mean, I love that, the first episode is street level. And I've said, I feel like we're going to start out really street level and then get more cosmic as we go along. So it looks like, again, with the second episode, that's kind of what they're teasing. So, overall, I would say my only like major issue with this show is they need to really put like year stamps, because this spans, I think, like 2016 and 2026. And when I started the second episode, I was kind of like, wait, Hal Jordan's alive? And I had to like mentally think to myself, I was like, hold on a second. I was like, is the scene where John Stewart's trying to fly, is this, because I was like, Hal Jordan looked like he died or something majorly wrong happened. He was like a coma. I think he's dead, but like, that was 2026. Is this 2016 or what? And I'd like to see, especially with it being a week and a week later between episodes. I have things I got to think of. Believe it or not, I do have a life outside of talking about movies and pop culture. So, for me, I'm kind of, if I was binge watching it, I might could keep up with it better, but I feel like it's a little confusing to just throw me into one time span and then go to another time span, just back and forth. So I wish they could at least put like years up there, but that's really my only complaint. So yeah, 8 out of 10 is where I'm going to land on it overall. Alan says, yeah, for sure. Literally only thing I didn't like low key is the bird CGI, and it wasn't horrible, but I peeped how Aaron was looking at his shoulder. Looked so unnatural. Yeah. And I mean, look, obviously like that bird is probably CGI. And I always try to put myself in the shoes of an actor. And it takes a really, really fantastic actor to look at something inanimate and actually seem like, it's there. I mean, can you imagine, like, I don't know if you've seen the movie Project Hail Mary. If not, great film. Probably will end up in like top 5, if definitely top 10 film of the year for me. But throughout like most of that movie, Ryan Gosling is acting with a character that is not real. It's an inanimate object, an alien. And so, it really does take a special kind of actor to really sell you on that. And I think Ryan Gosling in that movie does a great job of making you feel like he's actually talking to something else, even if it's an inanimate object. Whereas, sometimes like with, Aaron Pierre, it might just be weird looking at his shoulder, looking like it's a bird. And I'm not giving an excuse for bad acting. I didn't personally notice it, so it didn't bother me. I'm just saying that, I think sometimes because we're so used to CGI and everything, we forget that actors are actually having to act and interact with things that sometimes, in fact, a lot of times, aren't even there. So I'm just commenting on that and, just giving you my thoughts. Vape Victim, you like Jeff Land Shark from my Marvel Rival? Dude, I need to get back into Marvel Rivals. Like, I really had fun when it first dropped. It was free to play, so I downloaded it on the PS5. It's a lot of fun. I really enjoyed playing it. I think I did play as the Jeff Landshark like once or twice. I mean, I don't really remember it. I don't remember him being my like absolute favorite character, but he was fun. He was fine. Jose Hernandez, thanks for joining in, man. I'm just waiting for Avengers Doomsday. I guess you mean LOL. Yeah, I mean, dude, Avengers Doomsday, like, I don't know if y'all saw, I think I kind of talked about this either on another live stream or something, but that second trailer, like, I'm getting more and more excited because I think ever since Deadpool and Wolverine, Marvel's been kind of on a hot streak. I mean, I didn't hate Captain America Brave New World, but Captain America Brave New World aside, I mean, Thunderbolts, fantastic. Fantastic Four, obviously fantastic. Of course, I had to say that, but it was objectively a great movie. And then Spider Man Brand New Day, which was really awesome as well. So I've always said Marvel needed three hits for me to really have my faith restored in them. And yeah, I mean, I think that second trailer, because while I was excited again, because we had, back to back bangers with the movies I just mentioned, Thunderbolts, F4, and Spider Man, I was like, okay, maybe I think Doomsday could be really great. The first trailer, as fan servicey as it was, and it definitely got me excited. I think it wasn't until the second trailer that I was really like, oh my gosh, this thing could be amazing. And I think because the second trailer gives you a little more story, but it's not done in a way that feels like, it doesn't feel like just gimmicky, like, oh, look at all these characters and this and that. So I think that looks cool. Okay, so question. So the second trailer I did like, long story short. So it really sold me, like I'm super excited for Doomsday. Let's see. Jose says, okay, so question. If there's a face reveal for Doomsday, are they going to react to him being Stark or not, since it's another universe? Um, excuse me, guys. Let's see. So let me read that again. If there's a face reveal for Doomsday, they're gonna react to him being Stark. Oh, okay, I get what you're saying. Yeah. Um. Yeah. Second trailer was better than the first. I agree with you, man. As for the face reveal, see, okay, I don't know if you guys saw this or not, and this is the only reason why I'm going to I'm going to say maybe. And I say that only because I don't know if you guys heard, and if not, you can go look it up. David Harbour, who plays Red Guardian in the MCU, of course, is going to be in Doomsday. He was being interviewed, and somebody said, say a line completely out of context for Doomsday or something to that effect. And David Harbour said, it was like, you are Iron Man, or is that Iron Man? I think it was like, you are Tony Stark. I think that may have been what it was, actually. And so I kind of wonder if he's saying that, like, he could have just been completely, throwing people for a loop, making something up, whatever. I feel it hard to believe he would spoil something like that, but it did get a lot of people talking, and I think a lot of people were like, oh, does this mean that, they're going to recognize, hey, this guy looks kind of like Tony Stark? So I'm going to say maybe. I would still lean toward maybe not, just because I'd much rather see, I'd much rather Doom not be a Tony Stark variant. But considering what David Harbour said, considering the fact that it is Robert Downey Jr. playing Doctor Doom, and I personally think they're going to play into that to some capacity or another, I'm going to lean toward maybe. That's where I'm going to lean for now. So yeah, if we don't have any questions, additional questions at the moment, I'm going to lean into my second thing involving the DCU. You guys have probably seen it. This one's not going to be as long, going to be like 5 to 10 minutes, and then we'll just talk away for a few minutes, like 15-20 minutes. But James Gunn announced, probably back like Saturday, Sunday, Gorilla Grodd and Jimmy Olsen show. So I think it's called like The People, Jimmy Olsen versus Gorilla Grodd, The People versus Gorilla Grodd. Like, I can't remember the exact title, but essentially it's like this mockumentary. It seems like it's going to be a courtroom kind of drama involving the people in Metropolis versus Gorilla Grodd. So I mean, it seems cool. Like, I will say, when I read the premise, I was like, okay, there's something here. Like, maybe this is, I'm sure they're going to probably tease or introduce the Flash, some, be it Wally West or Barry Allen. I think that could be really exciting because I love the Flash. I think the Flash and Green Lantern are some of the most slept on mainline heroes of DC Universe, of the DC Universe. So I'd love to see that. But I'm also kind of like, why are we getting a Jimmy Olsen and Gorilla Grodd spinoff? And like, especially right now with Marvel doing Ghost Rider, X-Men, like a lot of their more recognizable heroes, and obviously, the Avenger films as well. I'm kind of like, we just feel like we're meandering because we don't even have a Wonder Woman yet. We don't even have a Batman movie yet. And I don't know if the rumors are true. If you guys have seen Andy Muschietti, who's supposed to direct The Brave and the Bold, had come out and said that all of that's on hold until the Paramount merger. And obviously, I'm not going to get into all that. That's a whole nother scenario. But where it stands now, I'm just kind of like, why are we doing stuff like Gorilla Grodd and Jimmy Olsen when we need to get some of our A-listers up, get us a Justice League movie? Like, I'm not saying, because I've always said I enjoy the cinematic universe aspect well enough, but I would much rather see I'd much rather see really great movies and shows from DC than a connected universe. So I mean, look, if it's the best they got to offer, go for it. Just like Clayface. I don't know why we're getting a Clayface movie, but it looks awesome. James Gunn himself, which, admittedly, he's kind of hit and miss when it comes to his recommendations on things, but apparently the script was so good that he got it fast tracked. And that's what I want to see. Like, I'd much rather see a really great Clayface movie than a subpar Justice League movie. But, so I mean, I'll take a wait and see approach. But for now, I'm just kind of like, James Gunn, you're really going to have to sell me on this one, man, to show me why this is what you decided to do. Let's see. Alan said, have you ever watched or heard of Constantine, the Exorcist from DC? Yeah, dude, I love Constantine. Like, I haven't seen the movie, but I've watched like several of the animated stuff with him in it, like Apocalypse War, and I believe like the original Justice League Dark animated show. I want to say he was in something else. Like, was it Young Justice? I don't know. I've seen him in a few other things, and yeah, great character. I mean, I really enjoyed Constantine. I really want to watch the movie. I think I own it somewhere. I just haven't gotten around to putting it in and watching it. The one with Keanu Reeves, that is. So yeah, man. I mean, would love to. I'd love to see Constantine in the DCU. Honestly, like as a matter of fact, I'd like to get maybe like one or two Justice League movies in, and then I'd like to see them do like a Justice League Dark, because I don't know if they're still doing it, but I remember in the beginning when the DCU, the first slate of projects was announced, James Gunn said that we were going to be getting Swamp Thing. So I personally would love to see like Swamp Thing, Batman, um, Constantine, Zatanna, however you say her name. I'll say Zatanna. All of them just combine and, form the Justice League Dark. I think that would be super, super cool. Will that happen in the next 5 or 10 years, especially at this rate? Probably not, but I'd love to see it down the line at some point. Let's see. Got 5 people watching. So yeah, I'll give it a couple more minutes. I kind of said everything I wanted to say in regard to Lanterns, and the Jimmy Olsen Gorilla Grodd show. If you guys have anything else, it can be about DC, it can be about movies, it can be about my life. I'm obviously not going to give like my home address or anything like that, but if you want to ask, learn more about me, feel free to go ahead. I'm all ears. Let's see. I want to make sure I read all of the ones up here by chance. We talked about the Green Lantern, Ryan Reynolds. Let's see. When do you go on live and any other socials? Yeah, so I go live. I've been doing it here lately every Monday, and to be honest with you, that's probably where it's going to stand. Usually, probably at least until the end of the Lantern show. But it just depends on if I have something going on that day. But usually, I try to do Mondays. I only do once a week. Sometimes I'll do like YouTube shorts. Like I really am trying to be an aspiring movie critic to a certain degree. I do have a social. I'll try to link it to this video once it goes live. It's on Instagram. It is pop culture, and I think it's the pop culture analyst. It has like a logo on the side that's like movies and pop culture. I don't post a lot there. Really, it's just links to my shorts, YouTube videos, stuff like that. And actually, that was originally the first name here that I was going to do. When I started out my YouTube channel, I was going to do like the pop culture analyst, and that was going to be the name. It was just going to be mostly like Marvel, DC, Star Wars, Star Trek, like the very like high icon pop culture stuff. But one thing I love, I love movies. I love film. I love cinema. Like, and I'm not, I'm not like trying to be ultra pretentious or anything. Like, I am that guy. I will appreciate a good Denis Villeneuve movie or a Martin Scorsese, one of the all-time greats. Like, I will love to study those films, but then I will turn around, turn my brain off, and watch a Fast and Furious movie or a, well, okay, I'm not really a huge fan of the more recent Jurassic Park movies, but like Marvel, DC, whatever. Like, I'm a nerd, but I'm also a movie fan, so I like a good balance. If the movie's good, the movie's good. Vape Victim, last best film you watched, not movie. Wait, so last best film you watched? I Not movie. I don't know what you're saying, man. What about Obsession? Yeah, I did watch Obsession. Great movie. It's one of those movies that when I watched it, I was kind of like, it's a little like, I guess, unnerving enough, for lack of a better term, to where I was kind of like, I don't know if I really, I was like, I don't know if I'd watch this movie again. Like, it's a great movie, but like, as an animal lover, the cat scene, you guys know what I'm talking about if you've seen that movie. Not necessarily something I want to think about a whole lot. The ending is pretty disturbing, but like the more I think about it, the more I really appreciate it as a film. I mean, Indy Neverready, I hope I'm saying her name right, Neverready. I mean, she's fantastic. I knew her as far back as the Superman and Lois show from a few years ago. So, I mean, she just gives like an otherworldly performance. Like, I would love to see her win like Best Actress or I mean, I think she's the main character, but at minimum, best supporting actress. Like, she really deserves recognition for that movie. So yeah, I mean, I want to buy the 4K at some point. I think I would say Backrooms, if you've seen that. I would say I personally enjoyed that a little bit more. I see you, Alan, but you know, I think I enjoyed that a little more just because I can rewatch it. It's not quite as disturbing, but like the better film is definitely Obsession. Vape Victim. What's the last movie you loved? Okay, I got you. Trying to think what I've last seen. I will say there's probably been two. I'll give you a movie I most recently saw, and I'll give you a movie that I saw that's from a long time ago. So Backrooms came out on my B day, so fire, great experience. Oh heck yeah, dude! And I knew nothing. Like I'm gonna answer your question, Victim, in like 2 seconds. I just got to respond to this. I knew nothing about Backrooms at all. Like and so I went into this completely blind, but I love how I wasn't lost. I loved how it instantly got me invested, and at the end of the day, I just, I really wanted to see the YouTube shorts and see where this guy was coming from. And that's another thing too. I absolutely loved how this dude, how I believe it's Kane Parsons for Backrooms, and I can't remember the guy that did Obsession. They're like around my age, and they're over here making bangers, and I just think that's awesome. Let's see. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna answer yours, Jose. A comment on that in just a second. I'm gonna go back up to Vape Victim. Last movie I love. So okay, one I watched in theaters recently, and then one I watched at home. One I watched in theaters. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I know it's generic. I know it is the one on everyone's lips right now. I think, okay, I love Spider-Man Brand New Day. I really did. I think The Odyssey could be one of the greatest films I've ever seen in my life. I understand that's subjective. If you didn't like it for whatever reason, it wasn't historically accurate to you, it wasn't this or that, totally get that. That's completely valid. But I absolutely just, I think the third act of that movie is just so epic and raw and visceral. It's like the quintessential hero's journey just manifested on the screen. Robert Pattinson is just disgustingly evil. So many great moments. I love the Cyclops scene in particular. Like Christopher Nolan, yes sir, my friend. I think he's probably my personal favorite director of all time. Like he's one of those directors to where he, even when he makes a movie that I don't love, I find it interesting. And you can't say that about many directors. I mean, even Scorsese, there's a couple that I would say I'm not the biggest fan of. But with Nolan, I love every single one of his films, and even the ones like Dunkirk that I don't, even the ones like Insomnia. Like, I don't love them, but I still really, really like them, and they're still interesting to me. And so I think that's what's really cool. Let's see. Kane Parson gonna go crazy. You're absolutely right. Let me answer Jose's real quick. Last one I saw was Insidious. It was okay, just for fun. Yeah, I mean that's what I've heard. I think I've heard that new Insidious. I haven't seen any of those films, but I've heard the new one is like just kind of a dumb, fun, turn your brain off horror movie, which is to be fair, most horror films these days. But yeah, I mean, I'm glad you enjoyed it, man. I'm good. Think next movie I'm going to try to go see is probably either Coyote versus Acme, or I want to see I believe it's Buddy, that horror movie. That one looks pretty interesting. It's only playing in like two theaters. I live like near the capital city of my state, and it's a little, I'm only like 30 minutes away, but it's only playing like at one or two theaters that are like about 30, 40 minutes away, like right in the heart of the capital city. So I kind of have to find time to go, and I don't know if I will because it looks like it's very limited screenings, but I want to watch it at some point. Also from Nolan, Interstellar, amazing experience. One movie I will never forget from him. Dude, all right. I want to start out by saying this. I really like Interstellar. I find Interstellar probably to be Nolan's most overrated film. And I don't mean that in a derogatory way. I'm so glad you like this movie. I will never judge somebody for, thinking a movie's great that I don't necessarily think is great. Like, and I think excuse me, getting tired here. Interstellar is a great movie. Like, I really do. Like, if this was just a movie that came out from a no-name director, I think I gave it like an 8.5 out of 10. Like, I really do love the movie. But I don't think, when I think Christopher Nolan, and I'm thinking The Dark Knight, which is my personal favorite film of all time, Inception, Oppenheimer, recently The Odyssey for that matter. Like, I think it's really great. I just don't think it's holy crap, cinematic masterpiece, one of the best ever made. So I do love it. I just don't think it's, his best work, basically. But I do love sci-fi, and I did watch that movie. I tried to watch and review all the Nolan films leading up to Odyssey a few months ago. I mean, it is a great movie. I think I even got more out of it on second viewing. Love the third act, all of that. Just not, I think top three or even top five Nolan. Vape Victim, I've been obsessed with 28 Days Later series. I was gonna say I've watched I don't think I've seen 28 Weeks Later, but I've seen 28 Days Later. I tried to watch that before I went and saw 28 Years Later. I just wanted to kind of get a glimpse of what the world was kind of going to be like. And I heard 28 Weeks Later you didn't really have to watch that one. So I only had enough time to watch one. So I've seen 28 Days Later. Really solid, fun movie. Love seeing Cillian Murphy, in a role like 30 years ago. That's pretty crazy. But yeah, so I thought that was really good. 28 Years Later, I did quite enjoy it. I think the second half was nowhere near as strong as the first half, but it was overall a really fun experience. 28 Years Later, The Temple, a lot of people love that movie. I just wasn't the biggest fan personally. That's just my opinion. Don't come at me don't hate me, but I wasn't all that impressed with The Bone Temple. But if you did like it, that's cool. So overall, I mean, I do like the series. I heard the Bone Temple flop so hard. I don't know if we're ever going to get another one, to be honest. But you know, they're fine movies. They're fun little vampire movies. Let's see. Jose says, I feel like for Nolan to make a sci-fi space movie. Oh, I'm sorry, I missed one before I get to that. Is really okay. So I feel like for Nolan to make a sci-fi space movie is really incredible outcome. I mean, yeah, like it's really great. I don't want to take anything away from the fact that it's not a great movie. In fact, I might even love the movie just as much as you do. I just think his other ones are, like Inception, Dark Knight, all that. I just like those a little bit more, in my opinion. Let's see. Alan says, have y'all watched the new Aang series from Avatar? Is that so I haven't seen any Avatar The Last Airbender. Maybe that's something I need to watch and review here at some point down the line. I'm sure you guys would love that. I know it's very popular. I'm sure it's something right up my alley for sure. Um, do you mean by series? I know they made a movie. It's like an animated movie. It was on like Paramount Plus. I think it's out now, and it got like leaked months beforehand. I obviously didn't watch it like that. But no, I haven't seen any Avatar Last Airbender, but I'd love to get into it at some point. Alan says, "Bro, you got to watch, dude." I know, yeah. Like I got a lot to watch, especially on the animation side. Like I think show wise, I'm trying to get through House of the Dragon, and then think I want to watch Breaking Bad. They're in their teens years, I believe. Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely interested in checking it out. But yeah, I mean, I think once I finish House of the Dragon and then I get through Breaking Bad, I'm probably going to go through and start watching a lot of like animated stuff. So Last Airbender. I've watched like several episodes or several seasons of Rick and Morty. I haven't seen some of the newer ones, so I want to get caught up on that as well. So yeah, man, like totally gonna check that out at some point. Breaking Bad is my favorite show right after The Office. Dude, I haven't seen every Office episode, but I've seen like probably the first 3 seasons or so, and then I've seen episodes, just spotty episodes here and there. Um, Love that show. Absolutely iconic. Definitely one of the best comedies. And I've heard absolutely nothing but good things about Breaking Bad. I mean, I think my girlfriend's seen like a couple episodes, and she's like the only person I know that wasn't like, oh my gosh, it's amazing. So, which, is fine. She just said it wasn't really her thing, which is, completely valid. But yeah, I mean, I've heard like 99.9% of people just nothing but great things to say about Breaking Bad. So can't wait to delve in that. Favorite movie genre: horror, mystery, action. Favorite movie genre. So I don't know if I have like an all around favorite because so many like my favorite movies are multiple genres. Um, I will say that probably I'm gonna go with like a thriller action movie. That might change. I may need to think about it more, but like a good action thriller, or especially like spy thrillers, like Mission Impossible, Bond, kind of like John Wick, I guess could kind of qualify in that. Like I really love those films as well. I'm also really big. Like I'm a huge sports guy in general, so naturally I do really enjoy sports films. Like Rocky's one of my favorite film franchises. Recently, I saw the F1 movie with Brad Pitt. That was one of my favorite movies from 2025. So yeah, I would say like sports and then like action thriller. But at the end of the day, if the movie's great, I'm gonna love the film no matter what genre it is. Have you watched Napoleon Dynamite, Alex? I don't believe I've seen you on here yet, Alex. Thanks for tuning in, my friend. I have seen Napoleon Dynamite. I need to watch it again because I think both times I watched it, I have either not been really paying attention, and I think second time I watched it, I was pretty sick, and I think I just wasn't in a great mood for a movie like that. But in my opinion, and this was shocking to me because usually these are the kind of movies I love. Like the kind of comedies I love are like just really stupid, dumb slapstick comedies. Napoleon Dynamite just never has done it for me both times I watched it. Now, I'm willing to watch it a third time, in better spirits, not sick, whatever, and maybe I'll appreciate it more. Like there's definitely a few funny moments, but like I said, it's a movie that I mean, I'm a big fan of like coming of age, high school dramedies. I love slapstick and, kind of like very wacky, out of pocket humor. So it's a movie that should have just been made for me, but I don't know, man. It's just, it's not my favorite. I don't know. I much would prefer to watch something like Norbit or Super Troopers, like that kind of, or any of like the 90s Adam Sandler films. Like, I don't know. I like all of those. I can't really get into Napoleon Dynamite, but I know a lot of people like it. So, at the end of the day, if a lot of people love it, that's okay with me. If it brings you joy, right on, man. Have you watched Napoleon? Oh, I already got that. Alan says Ronaldo or Messi. So I actually don't watch a lot of soccer. I watch like football, basketball, hockey, some baseball here and there. Those are kind of like my four main sports. But I did watch a lot of the World Cup, so I'm gonna say Ronaldo. I thought he was pretty good for the most part, so I'm gonna stick with Ronaldo. Messi though, nothing to sleep on with him either. He's great. Jose says love movies based on true events. Yeah, man. I mean, I definitely have more than my fair share of movies based off true stories that I absolutely love. The one that comes to mind to me would be if you guys have ever seen the movie Hacksaw Ridge, that one was based off a true story. That one was fantastic. I remember watching that like several years ago, and such a great war movie. Andrew Garfield gave such a fantastic performance, in my opinion. So yeah, that movie was absolutely phenomenal, in my opinion. Now I'm trying to think. I know I've seen so many movies that are based off true stories, and sometimes I don't even realize they're based off true stories until it'll say it at the end, which I think is really interesting as well. So yeah, I mean, like I said, at the end of the day, if also, do you take requests on movies to watch? It's funny you mention that because I've actually been thinking, and I mentioned this a couple times on live streams. I just haven't really done it yet. Maybe like once a month doing a live stream where I like watch a movie. It can be one I've seen, one I haven't seen, older, newer. Like if I have access to watch it, I'm probably not going to pay $20 to rent it off, the internet or something. But if I have access to it and it's on a streaming service or something, I'm more than happy to watch it. But like once a month, doing a live stream and just picking a movie you guys request or one that I find interesting to talk about and just, having a fun, lively discussion like this about it. Like giving people maybe a week and a half notice so they can watch it themselves and then come over here and just talk some fun movies. Some fun movie facts. I don't know. I'm getting tired. My brain's fried. Alex said Hacksaw was the best war movie in my opinion. I mean, I gotta watch it again, and I haven't seen, I haven't watched like Schindler. Well, I don't know if you quite count Schindler's List as a war movie, but I haven't seen that yet. But like of the war movies I've seen, it's definitely like top two or three for sure. I mean, I'd have to watch it again to really say that, but yeah, I mean, it was such a good movie. Like from beginning to end, I was just completely riveted, and yeah, I may have to rewatch that at some point down the road. Jose says, "Yep, you should." Yeah, I'm serious. I'm seriously considering doing it. It's just, my schedule is so like all over the place. So I really try to commit to Mondays, at least for the Lanterns live streams. Just talking some my thoughts about those. But I will probably at least try to find like a Friday, Saturday, or something to just and I'll maybe as probably as soon as the Lantern series is done, maybe I'll start trying to set that up. Jose says, highly recommend Only the Brave based on true event and amazing acting. Huh, I have not heard of that movie. Actually, the best is technically Forrest Gump. Okay, so I watched Forrest Gump, Rip Bubba. Heck yeah, Rip Bubba. But yeah, I watched Forrest Gump for the first time. It was about 2 or 3 months ago. I got the DVD off out of like this thrift store that me and my girlfriend were at. And dude, I see what the hype is. Like, it is such a really strong, emotionally driven character study. And as somebody who is not I'm going to go and say it. I'm not the brightest apple in the barrel. I can be a little slow at certain points. And, I think seeing somebody like him and seeing the impact that he made on other people's lives really made me, really was inspiring to somebody like me as well. So I really love that. I think Tom Hanks gave an amazing performance, totally deserved to win Best Picture. And I just love, again, that this ordinary guy, or, maybe even what some people would call a below ordinary or below average guy, is able to just impact the world in such a meaningful and powerful way. Like it is, I have no qualms saying that it is one of the most powerful movies ever made. Like, have zero qualms with that. I think that could just be an objective truth for that matter. Let's see. I will recommend you guys. I can recommend a movie for you guys, and this was one I actually just realized I forgot to mention it when I forgot who set it up here about a movie I love that I haven't seen, that I saw last movie that I loved or something like that. It may have been Victim that said it. But oh, I was going to do a new one when I did the Odyssey. I forgot the one that isn't new that I saw that I really enjoyed, but first Scorsese film, or like one of the first Scorsese films, Robert De Niro, Raging Bull. Again, like I just said earlier, I really, really enjoy sports films. So for me, seeing Robert De Niro playing this boxer was just really entertaining. And it takes like the concept of a sports story, and I don't want to spoil it, but it takes like the underdog story and it just completely inverts it. So it's kind of like if you took his formula for Goodfellas or for Wolf of Wall Street and you use that in the sports genre, then you get Raging Bull. And that's all I'm going to say, but it was a fantastic movie. Absolutely loved it, and I highly recommend checking it out. That would definitely be one that I'd love to discuss. Let's see. Alex says the Benjamin Button movie was good too. Haven't seen that. You guys are making me feel like I need to catch up on my movie watching, and I really do. I have a whole cabinet of films up there that many of which I haven't even watched yet. Jose says the horror genre for me was 2012. Sinister was very creepy, more so the soundtrack. I really need to watch Sinister. I do. I've heard nothing but good things about it. Honestly, I've just been trying to go through and watch like a lot of older movies, like 70 to 90s, which I would consider like the golden age of cinema. I think like one of the next ones I want to watch is like Fight Club. I've seen like bits and pieces of The Sandlot, but I haven't seen The Sandlot from start to finish, so that's something that I also want to watch as well. Jose says, sports wise, you should watch The Cinderella Man, also good sports movie. I've heard about that actually, and I think it was like anywhere from maybe like 1 to 3 months ago. Somebody was telling me about that, and I looked it up, and I was like, "Oh, this sounds cool! Like I gotta watch it." Haven't done it yet, but that's another one. So I'll definitely take some recommendations for if and when we start up like a live stream. I just gotta look at my schedule and it's just hard to commit day to day just with kind of the schedules that I do have and all that. But yeah, that's something that I would absolutely love to do later on. So I really appreciate the recommendation, guys. I may have to write some of this down. I don't have anything to write with, but I can go back and watch the live stream earlier and write these down. Let's see. I'll stay on here for a couple more minutes if anyone wants to talk. You subbed. Hey, thank you, Alex. I really appreciate it, man. It means a lot, and I'm so glad that I'm entertaining enough for you to have a conversation with for an evening. So yeah, thank you so much, my friend. Let's see. I'll give it another minute or so. See if anyone gotta watch Only the Brave first. You know what? Let me don't have anything to write this down with. I swear I'm gonna remember this name though. Only the Brave. Gonna remember it, I promise. Pretty easy title for the most part. And yeah, I don't know when I'll be able to check it out because I've got such a backlog of films I'm trying to catch up on, but I will 100% add it to the list. I actually have a list on my phone here, so I'll probably add it on there too, where just movies I'm trying to watch or movies that I haven't seen in a while that I want to rewatch. So yeah, Only the Brave. I'm definitely gonna check that out. Let's see. Anybody else? Gotta go soon because it's almost 11 p.m. for me. Same here, man. I'm assuming you're on the East Coast because it's 10:35 where I'm at, and I'm on the East Coast. So that's cool. We're I mean, you may be like, you know, opposite end of the East Coast, but we're semi close compared to the big round world. So yeah, on that note, I guess we'll go ahead and end it here. If no one else has anything to say, get a whiteboard. You're the kind of guy to benefit from a whiteboard, dude. Absolutely, yeah. You probably heard me like 10 different times. What is that actor's name? What is this and that? Yeah, like I need to write this stuff down more, and that is completely my fault. I'm still learning the ropes on YouTube. I've only been on here a couple years. I've been doing it pretty sporadically, like only a couple times a week, and I've only very recently gotten to the live streams part of it. So yeah, you're right, dude. I need to get a whiteboard. Anyone wants to do a donation, more than happy to. I'll gladly accept it. But yeah, on that note, we're gonna end it here, guys. I had so much fun talking to you. It seemed like we got a lot of really good engagement and a lot of good conversations about movies, life, pop culture, and that's what it's all about. I never want to make this stuff like super structured or corporate feeling, for lack of a better term. Like I just want to get on here, have some fun with you guys. I got 103 subscribers. I'm not getting an income from this, so let's just get on here, have some fun, talk about movies. And you guys really lifted my spirits tonight. I'm, just, I don't know. I was feeling down earlier, but so glad that I was able to come on here and just, have a fun conversation with you all. Before I go, and this is something I never like to pressure people to do this at all, but I do have a Buy Me a Coffee. You can find it on, go to my YouTube page. It should be like right up there near the top with my channel description. Any amount helps. I don't like to ask for it and don't feel pressured whatsoever to do it. I plan on all this stuff being free, even when I do get to a point where I can get like paid sponsorships and all of that. But, any amount does help. It'll, help me to kind of put more effort into better videos, better technology to help make the videos the best that they can be. So that's something that, if you guys ever at any point feel led or want to do, just feel free again to go to my Buy Me a Coffee social. I got it on the description part of my YouTube channel. And yeah, just thank you so much, guys, for tuning in, and I will catch you all on the next video.